So for this, we'll just use a cylinder. This is a pretty simple piece. So I'm just going to draw one out here that kind of fits the width of our slot. This probably isn't going to match what I had originally, but I'm just going to draw it out like that. Alright, it looks fairly close. Let's actually move it over here into the center of our piece. It's going to kind of center it there. And we'll just get it into position and we can kind of adjust. So I'm just going to pull it over. I just want to judge the radius. Alright, so that's still a little too big. Let's take it down a little bit. And your model probably won't match this exactly depending on your slot, so just lower the radius or raise it until it looks like it actually fits in here properly. And that's pretty close. Alright, so let's jump back out into the back view. Gonna throw my blue material on there. And let's maybe crank up the sides here on our cylinder to maybe 50. So it's nice and smooth, and we'll just convert it to poly. And I'm just going to grab the verts here on the inside. Let's change our coordinates back to view. And we'll just move those over until they match the print. And we'll pull the other end out until we see it stick out there. And it's off, as you can see, but don't worry about it. That's just because of how we built the leg separately. Everything's going to be a little bit off. Take a look here. Okay, so we have the piece go through, and then there's a piece on the outside here, so I'm just going to pull the pin right through to the outside. Alright, so that should work. So let's go to polygon. I'm just going to grab all the faces on this piece, deselect the center ones, and we'll control click edge, and we'll just give this a bit of a chamfered edge. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, chamfer. One might be fine, so I'm just going to say okay. I'll turn off edge, and let's just see how this looks. It's going to need some quick smoothing groups again, so I'm just going to do this really quickly. Back to this side, do another chamfer. And you can try using the smooth modifier if you want to, instead of doing the manual smoothing groups. Alright, so throw the gray on there. Close up our panel, and we'll just take a look. And that should be fine. Alright, so we got one more piece to go before we start working on the foot down here. We have this inner, almost like a racer that actually holds this into the slot, so let's just make that out of a tube. So we'll just zoom in the right view again. I'm just going to maybe use a tube this time. And we'll just draw one out centered on our cylinder. Alright, we can tweak the size in a sec, so just get one in there. Let's go back into perspective. And I'm just going to use the align tool here to align it to the cylinder. Alright, X, Y, and Z, center and center. And we'll just pull it out to the outside. I want this to be pretty much touching these edge details here. So we'll stick it right there maybe. And that looks pretty good. So I think I'll just leave it at what it is. I'm just going to trash the height segments and raise up the sides here. Alright, let's just do 40 on the sides. I think that should work. Let's take a look here. And it has pretty hard edges as well, so let's just convert it to poly and we'll just chamfer down the edges. Alright, so I'm just going to grab a corner one here, we'll do a ring on it and a loop, and we'll just chamfer. Alright, let's take that down just a tiny bit. It's going to go around 0.7 or 0.8. Say okay. And let's take a look. We're going to need some smoothing groups again, so let's just go in isolation mode on this piece. Hold Q. And I'll just throw the blue material on here so we can see. And we'll just give it some quick ones. And just get all 4 chamfers. That's good, so let's exit. Chuck the gray material on there. And I think that pretty much takes care of the mounting. of the leg. So we're almost done finally. We just have a couple more pieces down here for the foot. That's not really that complex. As you can see, it's basically just a foot pad with this sphere on the inside. So we'll do that in a second, and then I think we'll finally be done with the front up here. So let's do a save. Just gonna jump into the top view here and we'll start working on the foot. Let's take a look. And yeah, they're pretty simple. Just have kind of a tapered shape here. So we'll just start with a cylinder as usual. So let's grab one, and I'm just gonna draw one out that kind of fits the radius of our foot here. Give it a bit of height. Let's actually just move it down. Put our material on. Slow that down a bit. Let's just make it maybe 64 on the radius. And we'll jump out and just adjust the height here in the right view. Right, move it up. So I'm just going to line it up with this bottom edge here. And we'll just lower this down a little bit. Maybe around 32 or 33 should be fine. And I think 50 sides should do it, so let's just convert it to poly. And we'll just quickly create the top here. So on polygon, I'm just going to drag through, deselect the sides. Just want the top cap selected down here. And we'll just start creating this. So let's do maybe a bevel here. And I think I might manually do this, so I'm just going to take it up to the top here and lower the outline amount down. So it kind of matches the radius up at the top there. Just say 34 for the height and 28 negative for the outline amount. And then we'll drag through here. I'm just going to add some edges in, so let's do a connect. Let's do maybe 3 for now. Say okay, and I'm going to control click vertex. And I'm just going to scale these in. I'm just going to turn my mode back to view first and just bring these in a bit. Right, let's grab these center ones, bring those in. Let's take a look in perspective. Might just add one more loop in here. So let's ring around this one here and do another connect. I'm just going to do one, no pinch, no slide. And I think I'm just going to move this one down slightly. And let's bring this one in just a little bit. Just want it to be kind of a smooth transition up to the top here, so that's probably fine. Alright, so let's just grab an edge on each of the loops. Loop those, I'm going to chamfer them again to kind of smooth everything out a bit more. So we'll just go up a bit. Check it out over here. That looks pretty good, so let's grab the top face, and in the top view I'm just going to pull this in. So we'll just do an inset here. Right, maybe around 4.5 or so. Should be good, I think. Let's take a look. Or let's just go 5. And okay, and I'm going to extrude this in. So we'll just extrude it, just say okay, and I'm just going to push it down inside. We're going to have the sphere in here in a second, so we don't need to worry about too much. Just go down a bit like that and then delete it. We won't need it. And then on the bottom, we can't really see what the bottom looks like in the reference pictures. What I did when I built it the first time is I just kind of put a little foot pad in the bottom, and you can kind of see it there on the blueprint, so I might just do that again. So we'll just inset the bottom face. Let's go maybe 5, that's probably fine. And then I'm just going to push this up inside. Okay, so just extrude it up a little bit, say okay. And then I'm just going to detach this face. So detach. We don't want to do clone this time. And then we'll just grab that face. Okay, I'm just going to pull it down out of the bottom. And we'll match it up on the blueprint. And I'm just going to grab it with border. So you have the outside selected. And then we'll just shift drag it up in perspective. Alright, so hold shift drag up on the Z. I just want to get it up inside there. Alright, so let's just get our sphere shape in here just so we can kind of see if it's going to work before we go any further. So let's grab a sphere and we'll just draw one out here. Alright, so just to make it a little easier to see, I'm just going to grab the sphere and both the pieces of the foot, and we'll go in isolation mode. Alright, so let's just center this to our top piece with the align tool, same settings as before, and we'll just pull it up to the top. Just want to make sure this is actually going to kind of fit our hole we have going, and it looks like it will. So let's just start working on our edges. So I'm going to grab this piece again and we'll just chamfer some of these down. Alright, so let's grab the top two. So they're fairly rounded over. So let's loop these and we'll chamfer. Alright, bring that down a bit. Around one or so should be good, and then we'll do these guys down here. Alright, loop. I think I'm going to do a double on this. Alright, so chamfer and just take it up a little bit, maybe like 1.5, and then we'll hit apply and just lower the second amount down. It's okay. And then these ones down here, I'm just going to do it at the same time. Alright, let's go around 0.75 for those two. And then for the bottom inside piece, I'm just going to grab the bottom face, control click edge, and we'll just round this over a bit. 1.5 should be cool. Say okay. And we're going to definitely need some smoothing groups here. It's looking pretty nasty, so let's just do that quickly. I'll just start on the inside of the main piece. Yeah, I'll just throw some of these on really quick. Alright, so we're going to do the top two chamfers first. Let's turn off our edges here so we can see what we're doing. And for the sides here, the whole thing is going to need to be done, so let's just bring up a couple of these. Alright, let's ring those. Control click polygon. Alright, so basically from the top chamfer to the bottom one, I might do this separately, we might want to include it, but I'm just going to see how it looks, so let's just give it a group. Turn off our edges, turn off polygon. That's pretty smooth, so let's just try doing the double chamfer here. So grab these three, ring them, give them a number, and just take a look. And that's fine, so let's go underneath and do these ones. And like I mentioned, you don't have to do this on every single little tiny detail. A lot of this you wouldn't really notice when you're looking at the completed model anyway, but I'll just do it for the sake. Alright, so we'll get the rest of those, and then we'll grab the foot piece here, and I'm just going to give this one on the chamfer and one on the side. So let's do the chamfer first, these guys. Alright, give them a number, and I'm going to grab a side edge. So I'm doing the actual side faces, and just give that a different one, just to smooth things out. Alright, that's more than good enough, so let's just throw our gray shader on here. And we'll exit, and we'll just kind of get this position properly. I don't think it's going to probably match up with the print exactly, but that's okay. Let's just jump out and take a look in the right view. Alright, so just going to line up like that. Let's check it out over here. Alright, we're pretty close. Close enough. And you just want to check the back and make sure this piece right here isn't sticking through the side or anything like that. But that looks pretty good. Alright, so I think we're finally done the leg. So let's definitely do a save. So we'll just copy it over to their side now. So I'm just going to grab all the pieces of the leg, or everything we don't have on the other side already. So I'm going to get the pin and the bushing there. And the whole piece looks like it should be 19 pieces. And let's just group this. We'll just call it leg. Say okay, and then we'll jump into the back view and we'll just copy it over. So if you want to, you can mirror it over. I think I might just use symmetry. So let's just put a symmetry modifier on the group, and I'm just going to select the mirror, and I'm just going to move this over. So let's just pull it over. And I'm just going to line up the mirror right on the center edge of our center pole, like that. And we're going to attach this all together anyway, so we'll just leave it like that. Looks like it's lining up fairly closely, so let's just take a look in perspective and make sure everything's going to work. Alright, looks like everything's lining up pretty good. Okay, so that finally takes care of the front of this thing, and in the next part we're going to start working on the back, which is not going to be easy either, but it should be a little quicker than this. It's not as many pieces. Alright, so we'll get started on that in a second, but let's do a save.